Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, where we talk with local entrepreneurs, share motivation, network with one another, and pick up a tip or two on how not to burn your business to the ground. I'm your host, Spencer Ward. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Idaho Business Podcast. This is the last episode of the year. So let's talk about some fun stuff today, okay? We're not going to talk about crazy goal setting or anything like that. We're going to just talk about the nitty gritty. We're going to talk about a 2 to 3% rule and why profits are unnatural and how small improvements can change everything. So let's get to it. We're sponsored by Health West, great organization, great medical groups. Give them an opportunity to prove themselves to you and your family members and your loved ones. Google where they're closest to you and give them a shot. We're sponsored by my company, New Clean Commercial Cleaning. If you need any janitorial needs, any disinfecting needs, anything to do with helping your office overcome the dreaded flu season, we got your back. Give us a call, 208-254-7070, and we will hook you up. All right. So let's get to it, guys. Business owners, we love big goals. Big revenue targets, big growth plans. We've talked about goal setting and stuff like this on this podcast before. When I was younger business owner, I would have full documents. Just these are my goals. Like I'm going to do this next year, and maybe one gets done. Okay, we overwhelm ourselves with the goals and we don't narrow in on what's truly important. Okay. So here's the truth most people don't want to hear. You don't need a breakthrough year. You need a disciplined one. Okay. And every year, with three things that we're going to go over. Okay. Because this isn't about vibes or motivation. It's just about the numbers. And the three numbers that matter most are, numbers or just stats that we're going to be looking at, or your KPIs for your business, your P&L, and your balance sheet. Those are the three things that you need to be looking at the end of the year. It's not about vibes or motivation. It's about numbers. And the three numbers that matter most are your KPIs, your balance sheet, your P&L. It's as simple as that. Then ask one simple question this new year. Can you improve each of these by 2 to 3%? And you may think to yourself, what is 2 or 3% going to do? Well, let's talk about that because it can do a lot. Okay. Small improvements done intentionally create massive results. Let's talk about end of year review. Let's go into your KPIs. Okay. Behavior tells the truth. Your KPIs expose reality. So you're looking over your turnover, your absenteeism, your client churn, your production and quality. Whatever it is in your industry, it's going to be something different that you're going to be looking over. Peter Drucker said, "What gets measured gets managed." If you aren't reviewing KPIs, you're not managing, you're not reaching. Okay. P&L, performance without emotion. Your P&L tells you where profit is real, where margins margin leaks exist, where spending discipline broke down. It tells you all that. Warren Buffett says you don't find out who's been swimming naked until the tide goes out. The year end is low tide, people. So that's really what it comes down to. Those of you, I hope I'm not talking to you at this point. If you've been listening to this show and you don't have a clean P&L to look at month by month, holy smokes, stop everything you're doing, literally. Even stop bidding jobs until you get with your CPA and figure out your numbers so you have a clean P&L to look at. So month by month, if you look, we're coming into January. Come January 5th, my bookkeeper is going to have everything ready for December's books to review. And that's as simple as that. You have to have some type of discipline to make sure that you're reviewing past numbers so you know how to change anything in the future. Okay. Balance sheets. This is where mature businesses separate themselves. Okay. We're talking about, you can see your cash there, how much cash you have, how much debt you have, assets you own, and owner dependence, This tells you whether your business can handle stress or if it just looks good on the surface. Okay, so a lot of people avoid balance sheets, and I'll tell you, I made a mistake this year. I wasn't looking at my balance sheet as often as I should have been, and it bit me in the butt because something got messed up on a loan that we entered. And when we went to qualify for a loan for this building that we're building, it caused some hiccups because things weren't entered correctly, and they were showing three loans instead of one or two. You know, if I was just looking at the balance sheet over and over again every month, that wouldn't happen. So look at your balance sheet, make sure that everything is right, make sure the liabilities and your assets are balanced, and that's kind of how you go from there. Profits are unnatural. Let's get into that. Here's the reality. It really is. Profits are unnatural. Left unattended, every business naturally drifts towards more spending, less discipline, convenient decisions. It's just 100 bucks. It's just 50 bucks. Thinking that gets you in trouble. Profit doesn't happen by accident. It requires intention. And I'm telling you all of this because I've experienced all of it, guys and gals. I've seen, the creature creep, like feature creep or something like that. That you're like, oh, that seems nice. Let's add that. Let's add this. Let's add that. That's going to make my life easier. And real quickly, it can add up. So, only thing that you should be adding are things that are going to make your life and your business run more efficiently and help you bring more, revenue and profits. Okay, remember we talked about revenue is just vanity. Profits, I mean, or what you bring home to your family and how you make your living. Okay, because it's easy to say, hey, oh yeah, I've got a $5 million business. Well, great, but if 4 million and $999 are going out and you got $1 profit, whoop-de-doo. I'd much rather have a smaller company with a lot more profit in it than have some big company that's touting huge numbers with tiny little profits. So learn your numbers, know what you're doing. Okay. Jim Collins said, greatness is largely a matter of conscious choice and discipline. If no one's watching expenses, they will creep, like I just said, and you will wreck margins that you worked hard to earn. I've been there. I've been there. I've gotten things straight and got our margins to where they need to be, and then things will creep. Expenses will creep if you let them. So you have to have someone who owns expenses. Not everyone, but someone. Okay, even if it's, hey, your bookkeeper, or if it's your office manager, if you're big enough to have a fractional CFO, or if you have a CFO, they need to be responsible for, hey, why is this going up? What are we doing here? Why did you add this? They need to be questioning you as an owner. They need to be questioning the managers of what's going on. Okay, so hopefully this is making sense. Let's get into the 2 to 3% rule in action. For example, let's give an example here. Let's say you want to reduce turnover by 3%. Okay, turnover in your staff. Let's keep it real simple. Let's say you have 50 people. Okay, turnover maybe is 30% annually, which in normal jobs, I'm sure that's about, I think that's normal. In my industry, it's a lot higher than that. So 3% really would affect me a lot more. Um, so that's 15%, 15 replacements per year if we go off those numbers. Now reduce turnover by just 3%. That's 1 to 2 fewer replacements annually. Conservative costs to replace one employee, recruiting, training, lost production. That's 5 to 20,000 saved per year. Better morale. You get better client consistency, less management stress, small changes, big ripple. Okay. Let's give you one more example. Say you need to raise some prices. Okay. Or, hey, you're doing fine, but you know what? Let's bring the prices up just a little bit. It's 2 to 3%. Maybe it's been years since you've raised your prices. Okay, well, if you're scared to do it, let's just do 2 to 3%. Now let's talk leverage. Say you had, your average customers were $2,000, and they were coming to you every month. Say you had 90 customers. That's 180,000 a month, 2.1 roughly a year. Now raise prices by 2 to 3%. So let's just skip all the way to 3%. Actually, let's just start. Let's do it with 2%. 2% would be literally increasing by just each client by $40 per client. That's $3,600 more per month, $43,200 more a year. 3% would be $60 per client, $5,400 a month, $64,800 per year. That's just a 2 or 3% increase, guys. What clients do you have that wouldn't really care about a $40 to $60 increase if you were servicing month by month? And I know many of us are worried about raising prices and that kind of stuff, but if you haven't raised your prices since COVID, you're probably way behind the 8 ball, guys. Like, you've got to figure out some stuff. But 2 to 3%, guys, we got to keep up with inflation, what's going on in our country. So just doing this alone will help. So, and most of that drops straight into profit. Okay. Yeah, there's going to be some expenses that they're going to incur with this increase, but most of that goes right into the business profits pocket. Okay. It's going to be more for you to, bring home to your family, more for, future growth, everything. So ask yourself, what KPI could improve by 2 to 3%? What expense needs ownership? What price adjustments have you been avoiding? What standard have you been tolerating instead of enforcing? Okay. Most businesses don't fail from massive mistakes. They bleed out from small leaks. It's not from massive hemorrhages. It's the small little leaks that kill us. So you don't need a miracle year. You just need a disciplined one. Block out 90 minutes this week. If you're like me, it might not be this week, but might have to be the beginning of the year to get all of December's stats in. But then block out just 90 minutes. Review your KPIs, review your P&L, review your balance sheet. Choose 1, 2 to 3% improvement in each. Because revenue is exciting, profit is intentional, and intention requires ownership. Okay? Small changes don't create small results, they create compounding ones. Have a great week. Find an opportunity to go serve someone. Be grateful. And 2026 will be a banner year for you. Adios, guys.
That's it for today's Idaho Business Podcast. Hopefully you learned something new. And if you didn't, I've got a cheat code for you. Go to theidahobusinesspodcast.com, enter your email, and get my 20 golden rules for business. It's packed with my best advice, plus it's free. Subscribe, leave a review, share this with a friend. Until next time, keep hustling, keep laughing, and keep Idaho awesome.